Regionals are back in full swing, and let me tell you about these illusionist monsters. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. We're here to, this is like the prelude to all of the regional data and everything that we've put together out of the week here, because for the next couple of days, we're going to be sharing infinite list on this channel, breaking down by event, most of you are used to seeing. I want to talk about the impact of the illusionist monsters to start. So this is going to be everything that kind of rotates around the Chimera, the flying mythical beast. So you've got like the Colt, you've got, you know, the Mirror Sword, all the little support lines that you've got going for this. We've finally got to see some of the branded variants taking off. All right, I've heard legends, I've seen the buyouts for this. There's been so much hype around this, but we finally got the chance to see out of this weekend that the deck could perform. All right, I believe as of filming this, I think we have 4 to 5 variants alone out of, like 8 regionals that was able to succeed. So you're doing pretty well there. But one of my biggest surprises here, and I actually had seen this before, I haven't got the chance to cover it on the channel yet, but there was a variant of the deck that showed up playing Runic a little while ago. Now, you might not know this or not, but you know, Runic giving you that consistent draw package, and then you can make some chimeras and start forcing your opponent to discard some cards from their hand. So you're telling me that, well, a lot of people haven't figured out this particular version of Runic yet. It has been gaining a little bit of momentum as well. And I think that that's actually kind of horrifying at the end of the day. If I can include, you know, this package with this deck and have the opponent have zero idea what in the world is going on, that's a banger. And that's what you want to see. All right, so what else is going on in the rest of the format here? You know, there have been a lot of Unchained, actually. This is, I think, by far one of the most interesting things out here, because earlier in the week, I made a video, or at least mentioned in a video, talking about how Labyrinth players do not play, or they don't want to play against Unchained. Because if you paid attention to the Unchained stuff, or if you know where the choke point is based on the cards in your opponent's hand, based on the amount of extensions that they still have access to, you know, the big brain stuff that you need to analyze there. If you can cut them off, you're going to go into a pretty good place against Unchained. But Unchained's representation out of the weekend was huge, man. Like, one, it is new set weekend, but I mean, they've had 2 weeks to kind of, you know, hammer this out. We've looked at Infinite Case Tournament data at this point in time. And Unchained's got about as much representation as the Chimera stuff does. So that's something that you really need to consider as well. You know, if this deck is pulling its weight here with Unchained, that's a pretty clear indicator here that you definitely need to be aware of this deck. You need to be, I'm not saying you need to be scared of what Unchained can do, but if you're sitting here, you're like, you know, I'm not worried about Unchained, you're planning on playing competitively, you're probably going to lose to it. The deck doesn't, Shifter bugs it a little bit, because it does want some cards to go to the graveyard, but its destruction effects don't give 2 craps about it at the end of the day. So that's definitely something to consider. Is Unchained is sitting at the dinner table. It's going, you know, you need to be aware of this and don't play ignorant to it. All right, because that and the Chimera stuff have been pretty big hitters. So what's going on out here with Altergeist? You know, Altergeist, I swear, every Altergeist player has been coping, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know what, Robbie? Let me tell you, my Altergeist Turbo 9000 deck is going to win a regional, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Let me tell you what I've got here in terms of an opinion for this. Only one Altergeist, as of right now, as of filming this morning, do we have a reported result for. 1 out of 8 regionals. Now, what does that tell me? I think people were very, I'm not saying that Altergeist hasn't top 16. I'm saying that it hasn't made it into the Fable top 8 to get the playmat, to get, top 4, to get the deck box. The deck can very much grind out a top 16 or get to a top 16. What was that? Like X2, 5-2, 6-2, 5-3, some regionals. You can very easily qualify for an invite with the deck. But if you're trying to get to the upper half of the bracket, it's not going to happen. And I'm being massively honest with you. There are a few counter examples to this, depending on where the regional is as well. Somebody's going to be like, Robbie, you're just hating on Altergeist. No, I'm being very realistic at this point in time. I think a lot of people are going to be pretty disappointed if they're trying to take Altergeist to a regional. They lose the dice roll, don't open up any sort of interruption, and suddenly they're getting calamity'd on the next turn. I mean, it is a very big part of the current format, and it stinks, honestly. So, full disclaimer there. Altergeist did top, but it's not topping at a huge alarming rate. Enough that you really need to be worried about it as of this point in time. So, what else is going on here? Altergeist, you got Unchained, you got Chimera, Rescue Ace. So, I have seen Rescue Ace is not having a good time right now. I don't know what to tell you about Rescue Ace, because I looked at this deck. There was a lot of people that found a lot of decent success with it, but it's recovery. Yeah, I know the field spell exists, all right? I don't care that that's it. The field spell is the only thing that they have. But the way that the format is, you need to really try to gridlock a lot of your opponents and generate a lot of advantage. And the problem is the deck can't really do that a lot. And especially when we have Runic running around. Yeah, I am going to point the culprit here to those rogue Runic players out here. I've watched the Sprite Evil Twin version this week just tear Rescue Ace apart because they can't do anything about the advantage tree that's every single Runic engine doing its thing. I've seen that twice now, where the Evil Twin package is like, oh no, you can stop us all you want. And then all of a sudden, out comes, the full turbo engine on the side, the Runic package, and it's just like, they can't handle it. And it's the same thing with Kashtira. Like, if Kashtira goes first, sets up some pretty big, scary stuff, the deck needs to be able to have the chance to set up. And unfortunately, in the current modern era Yu-Gi-Oh!, if your deck can't go second, I mean, how many books can you put into Rescue Ace? 3? 6? Are you trying to play triple Eclipse as well? Because only Dragon Link should be getting away with main decking just Eclipse. All right, I've seen Kashtira that's playing, 6 books. They can get away with it. Purely has been playing some books as well. And there's a lot of things to really consider there at the end of the day. So that brings me to my last point of what I've seen out of the weekend here stick out, and it's Purely. So, Kashtira has more tops than Purely. Robbie, you just said that the reign of Kashtira was over. You clickbaiting garbage dumpster fire. Unsubscribing. Here's the thing, all right? We're going to use the Remote Duel Regional as a primary example for this. You had a decent amount of, meta in the top cut, but when you look down at the top 16, there were 4 Purely duelists alone in 9 through 16. They're there. They are doing things. If you are planning to play an event right now and you're trying to, I don't know why you would discount Purely at this point in time, because I've seen this deck get the draw 4 off so much over these past couple of days. I watched it happen today, and actually, you know what? I watched it happen 4 times today out of the Remote Duel Regional, where they would have the monster set up. They would go standby phase of the opponent, draw for 2 copies of the draw card. They'll leap it up and then draw 2 more. And do you know how many people saw that count with 5 materials sitting there on the field? Looked at their opening hand, the opponent just drew 4 cards. And they're like, yeah, I think I'll go ahead and scoop to the next game. All 4 cases of that were the same. And you're telling me that rogue decks are supposed to be able to handle this? No, they're not. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's a lot more unrealistic than I think people really give it credit for. And that's just the truth right now. So, Chimera doing a lot of things out here, and a lot of new challengers have entered into the metagame world. So now for the people that are like, case tournament data doesn't matter, Weird. Weird. Because I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff I saw out of those. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.